Should probably share this link. Share. All right. Hold on. All right, we're going to share that link. Put it in the Homeschools Connected primary chat so everyone knows we are live. Crushing. All right, we're going to share that link. Crushing. Okay. Okay, and let's get TikTok on the line. Let's grab them over at TikTok. We're already here on ThemeTube. All right, let's go live. See if I can muster up some energy here. All right, so let's go. Homestead and homeschool. That says homeschool. Homeschool. All right, let's do this, people. Let's do it. All right, if I can get this properly situated. All right, that's better. Now we're looking better. All right. Effects. Interesting. All right, here we go. What do you know? Got ants on me. Get off me, ants. I don't want beef with you. I know you're biters. I've caught the wrath of the ants a few times. 2, 1. Good afternoon, TikTok. It is a beautiful day here in the sunny south. Slightly overcast, but I'm not one to complain. The plants look happy, and the squirrels are seemingly scheming to steal all of my fruit. They stole another nectarine off of my nectarine tree today. It was my last nectarine of the season. I had grown 10 of them. They have stolen 10 of them. Needless to say, I at least was able to salvage the actual nectarine, so I will take the seed and at least plant it so that I could attempt to grow a tree. But my God, would I have liked to eat that nectarine along with the rest of them. So today, we are going to talk about homesteading, we are going to talk about homeschooling, we are going to talk about gardening, and we are going to talk about a much better way to educate our children. And then we'll probably talk about other things too. So, if you're anything like me, you are sick of the system. And I usually like to start these streams by just ripping into it a little bit. But the truth of the matter is that for people that are here, people that pull their children out of school, they do so for a variety of reasons. And one of those reasons is the limitations of the public school setting. The limitation that public school has to teach to the average. They have 30 children in a classroom. They're being shuffled from classroom to classroom. And there simply are limitations on the things that people are able to do. Hey, CJ, how you doing? Well, with homeschool, we don't have that problem. And with homeschool, we have the amazing ability to teach our children in context. And there is no more powerful form of learning than education in context. Experience truly is the greatest teacher, which is why for anyone that's had experience with maybe you went to college and studied something, but until you get out into the field, until you physically do it, it's just not quite the same because experience truly is the greatest teacher. Well, this year, as part of our nature unit study, what we've done, and it's something I'm really passionate about as a homesteader, as a gardener, and as someone who is really passionate about getting my child real-world experience. What are my qualifications? I have a bachelor's degree in history education, a master's degree in special education, and I worked in the field of education for about 8 years, so I'm pretty qualified, run a homeschool company. But, so anyway, we've been doing our year-long nature unit study, and as part of it, the students really, they've been gardening all year, and that's been the main theme of our year-long nature unit study. And yeah, it started out with them learning about maps and mapping their property, learning to use a compass and to calculate north, east, south, and west. And this is all stuff you can do whether you're a part of our unit study or not, just by hearing me talk about it. We had our children research their planting zones. What zone do you live in? They researched the zone. Okay, based on that, what do you want to plant? And we had them research what they wanted to plant. Build little indoor makeshift greenhouses, plant little seedlings inside, take those seedlings, get them ready to plant outside. And my wife came out with a really cool assignment. One of the things the children did is they actually planted seeds in a mason jar. And when you do that, you could actually watch the roots come out, the roots go down, the sprout go up, even when it's in the dirt. Really a great activity you can do with your children. And there are many. So to get ready to transfer their seedlings outside, they needed a place to put the plants, to put the seedlings. So what we did, I live in nature, so don't mind if I'm peeking to see what little thing is running around. There's always animals running around. So anyway, what we did is we had the children construct garden boxes. And this looks different for every child. Some people, they live in an apartment building, and that might be on a windowsill. For other children, they live on homesteads. I mean, we have a lot of families that live on homesteads, and I think that's such a cool thing. And we had them construct their own garden boxes and calculate surface area to figure out how many seeds they're going to plant, where they're going to plant them, and then ultimately transfer those seedlings outside into the garden. And then from there, the children could make their own compost. They can use banana peels and eggshells to make makeshift at-home fertilizer, which is such a cool assignment. They study photosynthesis, they study soil biology, they learn about desirable garden bugs like the bumblebees and the ladybugs and how to attract those bugs. Make their own ladybug feeders, and that's a great construction project. Make their own bumblebee baths, and then teach the children how to use sites like Etsy and the Facebook Marketplace to make more of those and sell them online if that's the unschooling direction that the child's interested in or the parent wants to go. So you're doing all these things, and you're getting children prepared for the real world, and there's so many entrepreneurial things you can embed into this stuff. For example, one of the things we did, and you can do, is we gave the children the option to start a flower garden. And if that's the route they go, they grow their flowers. And then when their flowers are ready, they have guidance. And they can sell their flowers at front yard sales. They can sell their flowers door to door. Or you could teach them how to make a sales pitch. And they could actually approach a local florist or a local garden center, make their sales pitch, and see if that garden center is willing to buy from them at wholesale. This is mirroring real life. This is developing an abundance mindset. This is teaching children or giving children the experience of being entrepreneurs that they will carry with them throughout the rest of their life. And I'll go back and answer all your questions. I just like to get through my rant. Otherwise, I get sidetracked by trolls and wind up yelling at them. And the last 4 weeks now, we have been studying herbs, which is something I'm really passionate about. My wife is an acupuncturist and doctor of traditional Chinese medicine. She's an absolute crusher, an absolute legend. And with herbs, it's really cool because so many of them just grow out right in nature. So you can go outside and you can have your child find white clover flowers. And then they can take those white clover flowers and they can make them into a tea. You can go outside, find dandelions, take those dandelions and make them into a dandelion jelly. You can do so many different things. And now that gets to this week, where the students in our homeschool community will be learning about lavender. And then, although you probably won't be able to find lavender out in nature, you can learn all about it. And one of the really cool things we're going to have the students do this week, because the beautiful thing about unit studies is you can embed the skills you want them to learn into whatever they're doing, is the students this week are actually going to be tasked with making a 1 minute video in which they go over 5 benefits, whether to your body or to nature, whatever it might be, to bees, but 5 benefits of lavender. And the theme of this week's lesson is going to be jump cuts. Hey, Unicorn Mama, this is the Nature Unit Study, lesson 27. I posted it about an hour ago in Homeschools Connected. It's lesson number 27. If you look in under lesson plans, you'll see the Nature Unit Study, and you could find, so far there's 27 lessons, and each one is its own unit study. Like, these are very comprehensive lessons that we put together, my wife and I. So this week, the theme is jump cuts, where children make their own videos. They go into Adobe, they go into iMovie, and they practice making jump cuts so that they can learn videography and to make their own videos, a really cool skill that they could use to carry over into many things that certainly they'll be interested in over the course of their life. In fact, in this day and age, if you're not teaching children how to make short form videos, you're really doing them a disservice, because short form video is such a powerful form of communication, such a powerful form of marketing for whatever they want to do later in life. And it's just a great skill for them to learn. And then my wife put together an assignment where, if you want to do it, it actually guides students in making lavender. It's called sockets. And they're like these little pouches. You stuff them with lavender and then you seal them shut. And you put them in your pillow or next to your pillow. And you get this is for Marine Princess, you get the wonderful aroma of lavender as you lay down on your pillow. So I do know the word aroma. I know the definition, allegedly, could it be? And I got called out, so it's fine. But that's what we're doing this week, and we're really excited about it. So anyone interested in that, www.classicallearner.com, Homeschools Connected. If you use the discount code FREEDOM, all lowercase, it's $10 a month. I'm now going to go back. I'm going to look at your comments, your questions, answer whatever it is that you have, and then, we'll see where it goes. We never know where it's going to go. Mama says, classical learner streams are like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get. Nicole made this, by the way. How good is this? She made this with her Cricut machine. I mean, listen, I'm not a big fan of the big-eyed red guy, but, I used to be, like the old episodes, just now he's all propagandized. We are walking, talking plants. Grow your food, everyone. I see what you're saying. As an adult, I want to order your unit studies for myself. Do much PSS missed. Your content is great. Yeah, you're more than welcome to join us. We, the unit studies, I kind of joke that, we're really a gardening club that masquerades as a homeschooling community, because gardening is so entrenched into what many of us believe in, what my personal philosophy of how you educate children. I mean, I'm a homesteader. It's, birds of a feather flock together. We should connect on container homes and off-grid ways of living. Yeah, I love that. I love container homes, mini houses, yurts, trailers. There's so many alternative ways to set up your lifestyle. All of us should have an objective of attempting to live without debt, because when you live without debt, it gives you a lot of flexibility in terms of the things you can do in your life, how you structure your everyday life, your employment. If you feel like you need to quit a job because maybe they're pressuring you into, getting a procedure you're not comfortable with. So getting out of debt is a very powerful thing, and I think we really do need to normalize alternative ways of living. So I think that's great that you're into that. Teach to not use money, trade, not sell. Yeah, they can do that. Bartering's a very important skill, and it could be very valuable, especially if there's problems with the food system. Like if you grow food and you have 50 chickens that produced 45 eggs a day, well, all of a sudden those eggs are very valuable and you could barter, so bartering is a great skill to have. You have to learn to stand on your own feet, not the government. Absolutely. I'm still on lesson 2, laugh out loud. Thanks. And you could jump ahead, like if you want to do, like right now it's in the summer. So lessons 27, 26, 25, and 24 are all about herbs. Like you might want to jump ahead and do those now because right now there's purple dead nettle all over the place. There's, so there's these herbs, dandelions, they're all over the place. White clover, they're all over the place. So you could do those assignments now. They're great assignments. Your kids will absolutely love them. They'll learn a lot. So you don't have to do everything in order. But the good thing is, Nicole and I were just talking about this. Over the next few weeks, we are going to start preparations for people's fall gardens. So for all of the gardening stuff, anything you're behind on, we're about to start the stuff in the next couple of weeks where children will start planting their fall gardens. And with that is like almost like a reset within our nature unit studies. So really cool thing, great idea by my wife, and she's the best. I mean, look at this. She makes Elmo cups with kites, and my son loves kites. Look, I'm a GIF. Creepy, creepy spider, I see you. I'm not going to kill you, though. But I'm terrified of you, so if you come near me, I'll probably kill you. But just please keep your distance, creepy spider. All right. I like you, though. I like you. You eat the mosquitoes, you're good. Plus nature, you're made by God. I appreciate you. All right. I think right now the unit studies are only available on Homeschools Connected. That is correct. ClassicalLearner.com, $10 a month. We like lesson 1 about maps and keys. Yeah, really cool stuff. And I thought that was a good way to start. And I really like the lesson plan where the children map your property. So they figure out north, east, south, and west, actually make a map of the property in which you live. And then from there, really cool stuff. The children spend a day tracking the sun's location in the sky, and then they say, okay, so the sun is on the south side of our yard for the majority of the day. So if we're going to set up a garden, the south side might be, south side might be the spot. And for those of you not aware, if you live in the Western Hemisphere, typically the sun is going to be in the south the majority of the day. Is lavender not easily accessible in the wild in the States? Is it where you live? That's awesome. I love lavender. We grow so much lavender. I love lavender. But yeah, I typically don't see lavender when I'm walking about. Does anyone where you live see it? Usually it's farms or people's gardens. I am doing this year, and I'm so excited to get my kids out of the system. Congratulations, and you'll do great. Start with baby steps. You don't have to climb a mountain. You certainly don't have to replicate public school and all of that nonsense, so you'll do just great. Where do I get lavender? Yeah, if you can't find it, you can go to any local garden center, and they probably sell it for like $4.50. Sorry, it jumped. Okay. The community is so supportive and helping. Yeah, I mean we have the best. We really do have in my opinion, one of the best. I mean, obviously, I'm not aware of every community on the internet, but I can't imagine there are many communities that are superior to ours in terms of, how we've really grown close and how everyone's supportive of one another. We talk to each other with respect, which is really cool, and it's a really good environment. So. And I like to stress that when someone has a question about homeschooling, we as a community step up and we answer their question. That is what makes us strong. And that is how, that value, it's like tenfold, right? Because when someone asks a question, when we all jump in and say, hey, this is what I went through, this is how I did that, solve that homeschooling problem. Then when we have a question, when you have a question, everyone's going to say, oh, I got to jump in and answer it and help them out. So I can't stress enough, when people have questions, every one of us needs to say, take it personal. Like, hey, I'm having this problem with little Johnny. I can't figure out the right science curriculum for him or how to teach him this thing. Whatever's going on with them, if we have experience in that area, we jump in and say, I went through something similar and this is what we did, or this is what I recommend, because that's really where our strength comes from. Can't long-term exposure to lavender affect the hormones of prepubescent boys? I haven't heard that, but that's interesting to look into. I would imagine it would have to be some pretty serious long-term exposure, but I don't know. I haven't heard that. Love the child books. My mother got all of them for my 3-year-old. Thank you, and make sure, 3's a little young for the lesson plans, but when they get a little bigger, there's free downloadable lesson plans on classicallearner.com, and you could go on there, you could download the lesson plans, and they really reinforce the lessons taught in the book. My food besides tomatoes always die. I'll need advice one day. So the unit study will help you with that. And listen, we've all been there, I have stuff this summer, and I'm pretty experienced now, and I've had stuff that have already died. So part of gardening is trial and error, and you're going to have successes, you're going to have failures, but you learn from what you do. Like, one of my proudest moments, actually, is we have is that a pear tree? A pear tree. It's about 20 feet in front of me right now. And after a few days, all of it started to brown, and after a few days, basically every single leaf on the entire tree had browned. And I was like, holy, what happened here? I thought my tree was dying. It was dying. And I pinpointed it that I thought the problem was either water or sun. So what I did was I took the pear tree, I moved it across the yard because it's in a bucket, and I put it underneath some big pine trees so that it has much less sun exposure. And I monitored what I was doing with the water, and I can very proudly say that after a couple of weeks now, it's maybe 3 weeks now, it has a bunch of new growth on it, all healthy green leaves. So I was able to identify the problem and actually rescue a dying plant. So trial and error, you learn from what you're doing, and you'll get great at it. I live in a cabin in the woods. It's a house technically, I guess. Well water, no gas bill. Oh, wow. Unicorn Mama, that's absolutely crushing. That's amazing. Good for you. I also live in the woods. This is my temporary stop, but my wife and I are building a house, and we're building it in a forest, quite literally in the woods, so I'm right there with you. Yeah, lessons 27, 26, 25, 24. Ow. The heck was that? Ow. That hurt. Something bite me? Welcome to the South. Wasn't that Spider, was it? No, I still see him. All right. Anyway, don't be a snowflake, Brett. No one cares about your ankle hurting. All right, let's get back to the stream now. Lavender and to treat oil. Oh, and tea tree oil is what my wife was probably saying. Lavender and tea tree oil may contain endocrine disrupting chemicals. Just don't go crazy. Okay. Good. I was hoping I could do some out of order. Cool. Yep. Yeah, I have a love-hate relationship with spiders. Hey, Netty Games. Yeah, I think the map is lesson 2. I mean, I'm going off my memory here, but I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I mean, you know these NSA spiders, these CIA spiders, these FBI spiders watching me. There's actually a book. The Snyder, the CIA Spider, which was written by John Taylor Gatto. And for anyone not familiar with Gatto's work, a lot of my philosophy derives from his life's work. And it's probably I haven't read it, but it's probably an awesome book for elementary school students. Tea tree oil in a bucket of water is great for getting rid of mold in houses. It's good to know. And it goes without saying, anything health-wise you ever hear on the internet, you need to do proper research and verify for yourself, right? I'm reading off comments. I don't know if that comment's accurate or not, so I just like to preface that. I'm sure you know your stuff. I just feel like I have a responsibility to preface that, right? So. Sorry, the thing jumped and I'm trying to find the spot again. Okay. Like everything in the world, too much of anything, you can usually lead to some issues. Birds or DARPA. I'm not getting into the fake birds. To lose Homeschools Connected would be losing my best friends. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. I'm new. Is this a support group or do you sell curriculum? Both. I think we're a support group. United, we are strong. Yes, ma'am. We've been working on that with my son. I really love that he's so respectful and he says, yes, sir. So a lot of times to Nicole, he goes, yes, sir. And we go, great job, Brady. But remember, mom is a ma'am. Yes, ma'am. But I really love, yes, sir, yes, ma'am. It makes me very happy. It makes me feel good about raising my children in the South. What do y'all think? This reminds me, I have a dead bird in the backyard to clean up. Well, good luck with that. You know, last time I thought I had a dead bird in the backyard, I literally had a shovel, was on like mid-scoop, and I looked at the bird and I was like, wait a second, that's breathing. And then I called Nicole over, we wound up taking the bird to a wildlife refuge center, and that was a really cool experience. I actually want to. Brady said he wants to go back there, so I think I might take Brady back to the wildlife refuge this week. It's really cool because all the birds there are so used to being fed by the workers that all the birds and the turtles, like, they literally let you walk right up to them. In fact, we were there and a turtle walked out of the water and it started walking at my toe, and I was like, "Back up, turtle." He just kept coming at me. I was like, "He's gonna bite my toe." You know, but he probably just wanted to hang out. But I was a little nervous. I'm not an expert on turtles. I was like, "Is this a snapping turtle? He's gonna kill me." You guys ever see those alligator turtles? Some of these turtles are crazy. Well, we all have homework to do, I guess. Review the good and bad of lavender. I love lavender. I love lavender. I was hanging out with Aubrey last night, and we have pots of lavender, and she picked one up, and she went, mmm. She's 13 months old. So then I took it, and I was going, mmm. And we were doing that back and forth, and she's just, she's the greatest. Oh yeah, lavender essential oils come from the lavender plant. It smells so good and it's so beautiful. I love lavender, and it's an annual or perennial. I mix the terms up, but basically you plant it and it comes back every year. So planting lavender is amazing. I mean, there are lavender plants that I planted in my home on Long Island that I'm sure they still have because I planted them, which is great. I'm happy they have those plants. Lavender is a really a great plant. And speaking of that, one of the things eventually I want to do with our children, and I want to get good at myself, is the process of extracting oil from plants. And I did it one time. I attempted to extract oil. I don't remember what kind of plant it was. Bushes in our backyard. And I wanted to see if I could extract the oil from them, so I got a pressure cooker. I don't recommend this. I'm not recommending this. I got a pressure cooker. I put the plant into the pressure cooker, filled it with water, heated it up, and I put copper piping, little 1 inch or like 1 millimeter thick copper piping. I put it through the little hole in the pressure cooker. I ran the copper piping into a bucket that I filled with ice water. So it wrapped in the bucket of ice water. Then out of the bucket and down into a little container on the floor. And what happened was, as I heated up the water and the plant, it turned into a gas. It went through the copper piping, around the piping, into the ice water, where it cooled down, and then continued to flow downward as a liquid into the container on the floor. And then when it turns to a liquid, the water was at the bottom and the oil rose to the top, and I used a little syringe to extract the oil off of the water. And that was when I extracted I extracted oil by myself, which was a really cool life experience. It's something ultimately I want to get good at, but don't, know your stuff before you do that. Don't do it with your child the first time you do it, because anytime you're dealing with pressure cookers and things of that nature, you want to be very careful because, you're dealing with something that could explode, right? So you have to be very careful with that type of stuff. Soon Melissa will be living in the woods. Listen, we know we're doing well when all of us are living in the woods, and hopefully all of us living right near each other in the woods, because that would be amazing. I'm debt free finally. I sold my car to a dealership in 2007. Well, congratulations on being debt free. That's amazing. And listen, if you're not debt free, don't kick yourself. It's hard to do, and like sometimes, like we get it. You need a house, you need a roof over your head, you got to feed your children, you got like stuff going on. Just you set a goal, and you just try to work toward that goal. And for some people, they achieve that goal quick. For some people, that takes 15 years. That's okay, but the important thing is we want to, at least me as someone who I take a lot of responsibility of being a community leader, of being a social media influencer, someone who has the ability to move the needle a little bit, that I encourage people to live good lives. And to me, you live a better life and you have more control over your life when you get control of your finances. And being debt free is a way to do that. And I know people have different philosophies. Like some people are like, no, you need a ton of debt. Like, money is debt. And listen, if you want to go and buy 15 different properties leveraging debt so that you could have rental income and all that passive income, well, that's a whole nother way to live. And I'm not telling you not to do it, but like what most people get stuck in is not either side of that. You want to be on either side of that. So most people, what they wind up doing is they have like $80,000, $100,000 for a down payment that they worked really hard for and they save up. They go to the bank. They wound up taking, buying a house for $550,000 or something like that. And they wind up with all this debt at interest. Now the mortgage payments are so expensive that it eats up most of their paychecks. And because of that, they don't have any disposable income to invest into themselves, to invest into their business, to invest into this or that. And they just get stuck in this rat race. And that's where the system traps most people. And that's where you don't want to be. Now, if you're in that position, do you kick yourself? No, you'll be fine. Just understand what finances are, that there's multiple sides of the coin, and try to work toward a goal. And you make, just like homeschooling with baby steps, you take baby steps, and you're going to have setbacks. I mean, Nicole and I'm not going to get too into this for obvious reasons, but like, Nicole and I, we started building our house, and, God willing, it looks like everything will be within our budget. I'm hoping we could pull it off. One of the first things that happened from when we met with the builders to the 2-month process to the day we actually sat down with them, is right when the gas inflation and everything started to hit. And they literally said, they were like, it's going to be $30,000 more dollars, and that's with no changes. We're like, wait, everything we already agreed upon is going to be $30,000 more dollars and with no changes? And then Nicole and I had to go back to the drawing board, and we figured out how to remove a lot of stuff and strip a lot of stuff to try to get back to that number that we were comfortable with. So it's like there's always going to be setbacks. There's always going to be things you don't foresee, and if you have to get in a little debt, you'll be fine. So I don't want to make people feel terrible. It's not the end of the world. You look at me. 2 years ago, I was, I think I had $330,000 of debt. This 2 years ago. Now I don't have debt. So it's, everything's a process. You build toward it. You make goals. You work toward them. And you always remind yourself that, Rome wasn't built in one day. And, it certainly hasn't fallen yet. But that's a topic for, that's a story for another day. Nicole, you should be out there laughing at me because I got bit. Nicole, we were on stream and Nicole got stung by a wasp and I was laughing, so I had it coming. Vinegar should push the spiders away. If you have not checked out Netty Games, you need to. Yes, I still haven't played their games. They sent them to me in the mail, so hopefully this month I can actually play them. I'm very busy, but they look amazing. And if you haven't seen them, go to Netty Games, Google Netty Games, go to their website. They have this game, Conspiracy Theory or Theorist. It's awesome. They have a game that's designed called Spin Doctor, designed to teach children about the Electoral College and like how corrupt media and political secrets work. Really cool stuff. Annoying, unpredictable stuff with the inflation or the supply chain, you know. It's, I don't know. I don't want to get too into the economics right now. I'll do that another day, but I'm not even certain anymore that the issue is so much inflation as supply chains. I'll get into this another day because there's a whole nother argument that the issue we're actually about to face is deflation. And I know it goes contradictory to everything you hear, but, you know, anyway, I'll do that another day because it's a big topic and I really don't feel like getting into it at the moment. Put the website again to subscribe the children, www.classicallearner.com. That's Homeschools Connected, and use the discount code FREEDOM. It's $10 a month. My children just got enrolled into Florida virtual schooling. Is that like the K through 12 stuff? I don't love the K through 12 stuff. I hope this isn't bite related, but my foot is like completely asleep. I'm banging it on the ground right now. Wake up. Nicole, prepare the herbs. I got bit, now my foot is sleeping. Wake up. All right. No, I don't really have any desire to visit the Guidestone sites. I mean, if they rebuild them and I'm passing through Georgia, maybe I'll do that with my children when they're a little older. You know, I don't know, maybe. I'd rather do, at this age, I'd rather do like museum type stuff. And then, yeah, if my kids were in middle school, high school, I would love to take them to see the Guidestones. But I want to be a part of your community and learning experience. And we'll be very happy to have you. And we really are family. So we're building something very special. And we're going to keep doing that. My children are glued to computer games and TV shows. It's crazy. We need action. Yeah, it's tough in the modern age especially with the slime they put in these television shows. And everything is designed to indoctrinate our children. But, you know, get them out into nature, give them alternative things to do, get them involved in sports, and just keep your kids active and, you know, try to limit that stuff as much as you can. I'm getting a bit depressed too. Well, we all have ups and downs, but anytime you catch yourself going into that, like especially we as parents, we gotta almost smack ourselves out of it and realize that when you turn off the screens, like you turn off the news and whatnot, the world is a really beautiful place. And, you know, we don't have to be upset. We don't have to be scared. We don't have to be depressed. And it really is a beautiful place. That's what I want. Thank God I have the $20 a month. Laugh out loud. It's very affordable. What's going on, Hardwood? Hardwood Bear in the house. Hardwood, I'm going. Oh yeah. All right, guys. I'll be in Missouri on Labor Day weekend. I am going to Missouri to the Beartaria Times Magazine first ever annual national event. And I will be giving a speech on the topic of education and homeschooling. So I'm very excited about that. Big national event. There will be hundreds of people there. Probably, I wouldn't be surprised if there's thousands. There's going to be vendors and games for kids and all kinds of cool activities for adults. And it's something I'm really honored to be a part of. It's a great honor that they want me to speak there. And it's in Missouri. You're in the Ozarks? Yeah, so I mean, I'm not too familiar with Missouri, but my understanding is you're right near it. Am I planning to camp or Airbnb? I was rather rambunctious at first, and I was like, I'm going to camp. And then Nicole was like, yeah, well, how are you going to do this? How are you going to do this? And I was like, maybe I'll get an Airbnb. So, so I haven't decided yet, but I'll probably wind up getting an Airbnb. I mean, I could get an Airbnb and then camp if I want to. Oh, I sold the 2020 to buy a 2007. Okay, that's what you were saying. Yeah, and it's like I think it's Beartaria.events you could get tickets at. I'm not don't quote me on that, but I think it's Beartaria.events. I have a mini farm, 4 goats, 11 bunnies, and 6 chickens. That is amazing. Nicole and I plan on getting bees and chickens in the next 12 months. And once we establish that we've kept the bees and the chickens alive, we're going to look into possibly goats, alpacas, and cows. Oh, and I'm definitely getting cats. I'm definitely getting a cat, a white cat, and I will be naming it Charisma. And Charisma Cat will keep all of the squirrels away from my crops with psychological operations, so I won't even have to fight off the squirrels. Maybe we can throw down on an Airbnb for the ladies and the boys can go camping. I mean, I'm down to meet up, but Nicole and the babies are actually staying home. They're sitting this one out, so it's going to be just me, Missouri, and yeah, I'm pumped. I'm pumped. Yeah, because it would be a little much for them. It will be a lot for us financially to do all of them, and we have to go to Florida later that month because Nicole's brother is getting married. So, we just went to PA. We got to go to Florida again in September. But, I figure, so Missouri, I'm just going to go just me and the kids will stay. Nick and the kids will stay back. I was lucky I was able to buy my house in cash. Wow, Unicorn Mama, crushing. Living in the woods, houseboat in cash. Now, don't worry, Unicorn Mama. We're going to teach our kids how to afford houses. And for me personally, my objective is multi-generational housing. So my long-term objective is when my children are of age, maybe as a wedding present or possibly beforehand, depending on circumstance, my objective is actually to, when the time's right, build houses for them, whether that's, whatever form that looks like. on our property, and then we can have generations of our family living on our property. And ultimately, I think that's the way we're meant to live. It's just modern culture, with this, anyway, where everything's outsourced. All the incentives are, like for example, I grew up on Long Island, and by the time I went to get a house on Long Island, the only way I can do that was in crazy debt, right? Because that place, it's just all those economic policies, and everything that goes into it. That's ultimately what it ends up in. So, but we can do better for our kids, and we will. Makes you a target of mice. Yeah, well, Charisma Cat will deal with the mice. Don't you worry about that. Charisma Cat will mobilize the news roosters against me. It was 90,000, got it to 70,000. That's amazing. And now, like, that gives you such flexibility to live your life the way you want to live your life, and that's why I preach that to people. Only 3 acres. 3 acres is a lot of land. That's awesome. That is awesome. I agree, 10,000 on communalism. Yeah, that's why the other day when I was talking about, like, people's perceptions of, like, capitalism, socialism, and communism, like, I'm a voluntary communist. Like, I'm all about communalism. I just don't like when the state forces it. Like, my whole thing is I want to live in multi-generational land or houses with my family, with my children, with my grandchildren. Like, I want to be a grandchildren and be posted up on the same property as, I want to be a grandparent posted up on the same property as my grandchildren who we're building houses for. And I want to know all my neighbors. I want to, as someone brought up earlier, I want to barter with my neighbors, feed my neighbors, know my local farmers. Like, that's what it's all about. That's how you actually achieve freedom. All of this, macroeconomic stuff, man, they're not trying to free you. Give me the power. We'll free you. Yeah, I bet. I mean, there's so much that can be done, right? I mean, once you have property, you have years. You could take years building, additional structures on it. So, and especially when you do it out of debt, it gives you a lot of flexibility. So, all right, guys, I think I'm going to call it a stream. This has been lots of fun, but I have got to run. Brady wants to do some swimming today. We put up a little pool yesterday. It's about, I don't know the dimensions of it, but it's about the size of like a circular table. It's pretty cool. I think it's 3 feet of water, maybe less, so he could actually stand up in it. And I was in it yesterday with Aubrey, and she was like, it was her first time ever. She was having the time of her life. It was great. So I know he wants to do a little bit of swimming, so I'm going to go do that. And yeah, had a very productive morning. I'm now going to take a few hours off. I'm going to spend them with my children, which is a great benefit of running a business and waking up very early in the morning. And then at nighttime, I will resume working, where I attempt to make more educational resources for you fine folks. So, exciting day ahead. I also think Nicole wants to get a floaty for Aubrey, so we got things to do. So, anyway, www.classicallearner.com, Homeschools Connected, use the discount code FREEDOM, all lowercase, $10 a month. You could find me, Classical Learner, on virtually everything on the internet. And freedom isn't free. We have to earn it every day. Tomorrow, I'm going to do a community-only stream at 9:30 a.m. Last week, I did a live stream for everyone on Friday, but that's because I missed the beginning of last week. Yep, I will community-only stream tomorrow, maybe at 9:30 or whenever I do it. It's fine. So I'll do the community stream, and we'll get ready for a big weekend. And I'm so excited because everything has been, I started Classical Learner 3 years ago, and I didn't know what it was going to be at that time. And at first, I was just doing consultations and setting up people's homeschools, basically. And, I had the idea of creating Homeschools Connected, and even then, I didn't quite know what it was going to be. And it was just going to be a place to connect like-minded people. And, my wife is so amazing, and just like she encouraged me to quit my job when it was time. And, to me, that was a very scary proposition. That was a very crazy proposition. And I had 2 children, and she's like, just quit your job. You'll be fine. You'll do great. And I'm like, yeah. And that was one of the best decisions I ever made. And I couldn't have done that without Nicole's guidance and her belief in me. And that's why behind every great man, that's a true saying, really is a great woman. And she's the wind at my back. And I would have never quit my job if she didn't encourage me to do that. That sounded crazy to me. I was like, what? What are you talking about? So she encouraged me to do that, and it wound up being a great decision. And this coming into this year, coming into January, she was the driving force behind, Brett, it's time for you to start making the original Classical Learner curriculum. It's time for you to start doing courses. And that was her idea and her drive. And she's the reason I announced the propaganda class. I didn't know what that was going to be at the time. And it turned out great. That started with classes. So I did the propaganda class. I did the Bill of Rights class. I made the Media Industrial Complex class. My other idea going into January, I was like, all right, I'll do a year-long unit study on teaching children skills, entrepreneurialism. And we started the unit study. And at the end of the Bill of Rights class in the American Revolution, I took a step back and I said, September, you always have to reevaluate yourself. What are we doing right? What are we doing wrong? And I really wanted to start ramping, banging out Classical Learner original curriculum for you guys. And I've started doing that now. I'm sure you've noticed. We start with the science curriculum we just released, with the STEM project I released yesterday. I created another one last night, which I'm looking forward to releasing to you guys. And I'm really starting to bang these out as much as I can. And I really want to just start giving you things you can do that fall into the realm of teaching children what we want them to learn, which is critical thinking, skill development, and getting them entrepreneurial experience. And that's the next step in what we're doing. And we're going to constantly build and reevaluate. And once I get to a certain point, because I already know where it's going, and once we get to, we're doing amazing things already, and once I get to a certain amount of members where I'm able to really start hiring people to help build out curriculum, so even when I'm not building it out, I have people building, and I could quarterback, we are going to really get to amazing heights. So the future's very bright. And the world is what we make it, and we're going to make it a great place for our children. So I guess I just wanted to say that and just crush people. I'm now going to count to 10. I'm going to count to 10. As I take in the aroma of nature around me and the refreshing feel of a cold ice water drink. Ah. E.T. phone home. Oh, I love that. It makes me and no one else laugh every day. Oh, before I go. So the other day, Nicole, Brady, Aubrey, and I were hanging out in bed. I think it must have been the morning. And Aubrey was standing there like this. And the light was coming through the window. And for whatever reason, the perfect angle just hit Aubrey's finger. So she's standing there like this, and her finger was lit up. And Nicole's like, E.T. phone home. And we were just dying laughing. Oh, it's the little things in life. And that's why I always tell people, have children. Like, people don't know how much joy children bring you. Like, just to see my 13-month-old standing there with her little finger and it's just lit up at the tip. And that's what life's about, people. That's what it's about. Be fruitful and multiply. Have lots and lots and lots of children, because when you are 50, 60 years old, man, you're going to kick yourself. You're going to say, man, why'd I only have one or two children? Like, man, like I want to be surrounded by all of my children. I want to see them get married. I want to have, a bunch of children who have a bunch of children of their own. And when I walk out and I'm old, I'm enthusiastic about life, because you walk outside and you have all of this childlike joy just running around and just being around you, the energy, the life force. Like, that's what it's all about. And I don't want to be that old guy with nothing to do. Like, I want to be that old guy who's like, I'll watch the kids. I can help my children with their marriages. Like, I'll say, oh yeah, don't worry about it. Friday night, you guys need to spend time together. Like, give me the children. Like, that's what I want to do. Like, it's Friday night. Give me all the children. We'll have a blast. I'll watch them all. You all go out with your spouses. Go out to dinner. Do whatever you do, and like, enjoy being married, because for so many people when you have young children, it is stressful and it's a lot of responsibility. And like, to know that I can do that and I can be that for my children and grandchildren, and like, that's what life's about. And I don't envision, I'm not like, oh, when I get older I want to get, like, these people are like, when I get older I want to get a really nice car. Ugh. Ugh. Like, no, when I get older I want to be surrounded by love. And that is what it's all about. So I will now restart my 10-second count, because I kind of want to make sure you guys hear that. Ah. Ah. E.T. phone home. E.T. phone home. Why E.T. talk like this? I don't know. All right. Goodbye.